Hey guys, I'm Tim.
And I'm Bob.
I'm Mike.
This is Board Game Rundown, and today we are continuing our top 50 games
We are.
of all time. And we're going from 20 to 11.
Is that how that works?
I mean,
Yes.
yeah, it's
Okay.
actually
Just checking.
exactly how that
Mike's
works.
starting to figure it out.
He is.
We're 3 weeks in, and he's starting to figure it out.
All right,
Yes.
Bob, you're number 10.
We did use the Pub Meeple ranking
Yep.
engine, and I actually, other than forgetting a bunch of games, did not move anything around on my list.
His list is perfect.
It's perfect and set in stone.
I've been tweaking it ever since. I did that about 3 weeks ago, and yeah, things keep moving. So.
We tried to talk to Mike about his tweaking, but he don't listen.
All right, so Bobby,
That's me.
why don't you get us started with your
Number 20. My number 20 is a big hit at this table. It is a hit on our Whiskey Wednesday live stream. It's a hit everywhere we go and everybody will play with. Flip 7, which might be the best card game ever, according to its box. It's not. But it's really good. It's a fantastic kind of push your luck little game. You're flipping cards over for people. There's 12 12s, 11 11s, 10 10s, 9 9s, all the way down. If you get two numbers that match, you bust. But otherwise, you can bow out and take your points, and you're trying to get to 200 points over a few rounds. But it's, simple, fun, but it's a great time. It's rowdy.
It is everything you just said. I also am pretty offended that you have a game this new, this high on your list.
Sure.
Cult of the New.
Whatever. There's a lot of that. Hey, everyone loves joining cults, right? You get like matching sneakers, you know.
Yeah, that's fair.
The flavor rate is on point.
Thank you for getting the reference right. Anyways, oh no, I just went away. My number 20 is from a publisher that has been crushing it this year, The Op.
Nice.
They put out a bunch of hits this year, including my number 20, Flip 7.
Yeah!
What? The same.
That's right.
Oh my
I'm
God.
offended you have such a new game.
This game is
so high on your
so
list.
good.
Call to the new.
This game is so good. I don't know that it's the greatest card game ever. I don't know that.
Yeah,
But I mean,
it's a bold
I took it out of the bigger box, threw it in a little deck box,
Mm-hmm.
and while we were walking around campus at Notre Dame for the game, we ducked into the library, found a table, and we played a couple rounds of Flip 7.
Awesome.
Just while we warmed up.
Yeah.
Man, this game's so good.
Nice.
It's really fun. The hardest part was not being loud while we played it in a library.
In a library, yeah.
Yeah, this game's fantastic. I absolutely love it,
Mm-hmm.
and I'm really happy it showed up high on my list because
Yeah.
it is deserving.
Yeah.
We play this game a lot. All right, Mike.
Wow. Man, I feel bad that it didn't make my top 50. I do enjoy it, though.
You're a
so
savage.
Stay tuned to our live show. You'll see it on there when we do the
50
50
after
after the 50.
Yeah.
All right, my number 20 is my favorite social deduction game. It is Blood on the Clock Tower.
What's this fallen a bit? For
So this
you?
is Fallen. This
enough.
is my number one game of all time. The year that I first learned about this game, 2022. That was when it was released. And I think it's just because I haven't played it in a while. There is now a local group that is playing this more regularly, and I just haven't made the time to go play it. I also think that if you have a bunch of experienced players, people that have played this a lot, there is an advantage in this game because there are a lot of rolls, and each set has 25 rolls. So if you get used to the Trouble Brewing set, the very basic set, okay, cool. But then there's two other sets like Sex and Violence, SECTS, by the way,
Sex.
Sex and Violence.
Violets,
These
isn't it? Like
violets,
the
these
flowers?
sets are a bit more advanced, and if you have not played with those, and you play with a group that's more knowledgeable
Yes.
on these roles, it becomes a bit trickier. And I think I've started to see that with more successive plays. But just not playing it as much. It's actually been a year and a half since I've played it. My last play was like July of 2023. So this is my personal hotness. If I don't play a game, it's going to drop. So Blood on the Clock Tower is still a great social deduction game. Falls in at number 20 this year.
Nice.
All right.
All right.
It's going to take us down to number
19.
My number 19, I'm pretty sure I'll be the person that has this game the highest. It's one we most recently played. I don't say most recently. We played it very recently for a review. Very crunchy game called Unconscious Mind. I just love all the different like art in there, all the things you have going on. And this, you take your action and it's going to trigger some things. You're going to do some stuff. And then by the time you're done with your action, oh yeah, by the way, you put that over here. So you got to know how to move your ink pot 3 spots. That's going to trigger a whole nother slew of actions and engine building stuff that you can do. There's a lot going on in this game, but I really enjoyed what I'm doing. I want to play this game more. I'd like to know it like inside and out and just break down that,
Break down that unconscious mind.
And break down the
And you
unconscious mind.
just
Reach
have-
that catharsis.
And you got to be conscious enough to remember to do all those things
You do.
because
There's a lot
it's
going on.
fiddly.
It is
and
very fiddly.
I think it's a great game. There's a lot of really good mechanics, but it's really easy to forget to do stuff because there's a ton of things going on. The player aids don't necessarily remind you to do some of those things. And so I know for Tim and I, not to speak for Tim, but we had a similar feeling. The fiddliness of this game stands away in the way of some of the enjoyment of it.
Sure.
Oh, it's on a list.
I hear you. But no, I don't know. I love those deeper, crunchier games.
It's a
and
beautiful game, and I'm really glad you like it. I honestly mean that.
I don't dislike it by any means.
I would say the
it's not
same.
for me.
Yeah.
I would say the same. I don't actively dislike that game like I do some others.
Sure.
For
Yeah,
sure.
no, I feel like if it was more modular, like module based, and you could pull a module out for people who didn't like quite as much fiddliness.
Just one
dial it back just a little bit for some people, and then maybe dial it back up for others, depending on who likes to play what. That would be super cool.
Yeah.
But I like it how it is. That's why
Bob's a fiddle player. He
I
wants
do.
all the fiddle.
That's right. I went. Anytime my trip to Georgia.
Oh boy. I was wondering where the devil went that week. Okay, so my number 19 is kind of interesting and maybe slightly controversial because of what happened with this game. But my number 19 is Comic Hunters. This is like drafting the game, right?
Yes.
It's like
All
5
these unique
different
ways to draft.
And it's got amazing, like they're just using comic book covers, right? And so as someone who used to collect comic books,
Nostalgia factor.
really appreciate that. The design is really cool. The different ways you can draft are really interesting, and I always find them interesting, like and they're fun, and you're like, oh, I can't wait for this one to come up because it's really good. Then all those cards that you draft, you then are going to spend them so you can add the other cards to your collection. So you've got like sort of this push and pull of like what cards am I going to use, and then there's it's modular in the sense that like you're randomly going to assign which comics are going to be the ones you're chasing for points. So Spider-Man may not be always the most valuable comic, maybe it's Doctor Strange or Black Panther, and so now it will be for that whole game, but I mean, but you can mix it, you mix it up and everything.
So you're
you
not
can change
always
that
going
up.
for Spider-Man. You're not always going.
Correct.
Yeah.
I mean, maybe you are. You're just going to lose because you're
Sure.
not going to get all the points.
Okay.
But the different ways you can build your collection and all those choices are awesome. Here's the controversial part. This game was released by Spin Master in the United States, so I have both the version
Brazilian
from Brazil,
Mm-hmm.
and I also have the Spin Master one, which I bought at Gen Con. To Spin Master's credit, that game was like $20-25. It's cheap. The problem
feels
is
that
the
way.
components are cheap. The little tokens that you're going to use to
Yeah,
mark,
half a millimeter.
I mean, they're paper thin.
yeah.
Paper thin. The cards aren't bad. The cards aren't near as
I
bad
would
as
definitely sleeve them though.
I sleeved them, but they're not near as bad as what I feared. When I saw the
but not linen finish or nothing.
but when I saw the punch tokens, I was like, oh my God.
Yeah.
Like, what are these cards going to be like? So there's some controversy there. We actually had one person comment. I don't remember if it was on one of our videos or maybe it was in the Discord where they were like, you shouldn't support the company from making the game so low quality. But I will say I support the designer and I really enjoy, I really like that
play
game.
the game.
I wish that they had done a nicer version. If they ever make a nicer version, I will buy it because I like the game that much, even though I already have the Brazilian version. But I like the game that much, and I want to support the designer because he made a badass game that I really, really like.
it's a very unique drafting mechanism.
It's really unique, and it's easy to teach, and it's complex enough that it rewards playing over and
Replays,
over. Anyways.
I disagree with that take. Enjoy the games you want to enjoy. Not every game needs to be $60.
Yeah.
Sure.
Yeah.
But
No,
maybe double up and make it a full millimeter thick on the token.
Yeah, maybe charge me $35 and give me. But no, but
I hear what you're saying.
but I understand what they're saying. But I'm also, to me, it was more important to support the title than it was the
Actual
company.
publisher,
Yeah.
All right.
But not like Spin Master is hurting. I mean, they're fine.
All right, my number 19, one of my favorite two-player games. It's Splendor Duel.
Hey.
So I think this improved on Splendor in every way possible, besides player count. But adding in the board, so you can't just take any token now, they have to be adjacent. So you can still take 3, but they have to be either in a column or in a diagonal. And then when you complete your cards or your contracts, whatever you want to call them, your jewel cards, you put the tokens back in a bag. Now you have to take an action to replenish the board. So there's a really interesting timing mechanic that gets added into this. Plus there's those little the privilege tokens or the scrolls that allow you to take an extra chip at the beginning of your turn, and there's a way that those get exchanged. So I just really enjoy Splendor. I always did, and then I thought Duel just added extra mechanics, improved the game tremendously, and it's excellent on Board Game Arena as well, and I've been playing it a ton on there. So Splendor Duel is my 19.
Nice. Good game.
Yeah.
I like it.
All right, takes us down to number
18.
My number 18, everybody at this table loves, by one of our favorite companies, Arcane Wonders, but Foundations of Rome is a fantastic game. I have the big like Emperor's Sun Drop box. I take that game places like meetups. It's got table presence, man. Like people see that, they're like, oh my gosh, it's very beautiful. The player trays and production value are phenomenal. It's got an easy teach to it because really all you're doing is you're buying these plots that are labeled like A through J and 1 through 9 depending on where it's at in the grid, and then you're putting property markers on there. You can trade those property markers in to build buildings on them, and they're giving you gold. You're getting residential places, and you're just earning points off all that kind of stuff. And man, it's great. Like I dropped a bunch of money on this game, but my price per play
You're good.
great. Yeah,
You're
I've
good,
definitely
dude.
got my money out of this game. I'm really glad I picked it up. And then they do have a cheaper one, the Metropolis. I haven't played it, but it's just cardboard chits. I appreciate table presence and cool ass minis, so that's why I got the one that I got, and no regrets.
No, man, it's a beautiful game, and I joke about not liking it, but if I saw one for a good price or could trade for one, I would just have in my collection. I mean,
Right.
Emerson Matsuuchi, great designer, and it's almost like it's the complete opposite of my last pick, right? Where Spin Master and everybody's complaining about
how cheap and underproduced.
how cheap it felt, but it was dirt cheap. And now you've got like a very well produced game, but it's you pay for it.
Yeah.
But I never saw that one go, well, that's ridiculous for what you're getting.
because you get a lot.
You do.
do.
You do. So
And now Foundations of Metropolis exists. So if you want a cheaper version of it, all
can do
cardboard,
it.
it's there.
and honestly, I think that like any game that has, an amazing badass deluxe version, there should be that cheaper alternative
Sure.
for the people that
Yep.
that are not like, look, I ain't there in the hobby. You know what I mean?
Yeah. I'm not quite there yet.
Yeah.
That was a good move by Arcane Wonders.
Yeah, they did a nice job. Okay. My number 18 is actually loved by everybody at this table. I can't remember who published it, but it might be Arcane Wonders. This is one of my all-time favorite engine builder games. I came to it kind of late, but man, this game is fun and it feels good. And I'm talking about It's a Wonderful World.
Wow.
This game is damn good. I just find myself wanting, like, when I was making the list, right?
This
Yeah.
moved up, way up for you.
It
Yeah,
did.
it did.
And I'm like, I want to play this game again.
Okay.
Like, I want to play this game again.
Wow.
Well, because last year when we did it, it was just maybe I just did only, it had probably just played it for the first time within 3 months of doing the list. And so with some more plays, and some more time,
Sure. Yeah.
let it cook a little.
Wow.
And it's like, dang, this game is good. I really like it. And I just always want to play it.
Sure.
It is a good game. I did not like playing it on Board Game Arena as much as I thought I would.
Sure.
And it actually fell out of my top 50 because of that. It's also not great at 2 players. Hence, It's a Wonderful Kingdom has been published now.
Oh, sure.
But it is still a really fun engine builder.
I just like this game, and there's And now maybe this is part of the problem, right? It's that tactile experience of getting
all the
all
stuff.
that stuff
Yeah,
and put it
I'm
in
with
front
you.
of you and then spending it, right?
It feels
Pulling
good.
it out of there. It feels good. And again, the ramp up is very quick with this
Yeah,
game.
it is.
Drafting online seems harder than drafting IRL.
Yes.
Yeah,
Yeah,
I have a
drafting-
hard time. I struggle
Yeah.
with it.
Yeah.
I'm old, I guess. It's fine.
Yeah.
Maybe it's because like it can take days for people to take their turns. Like, okay, I'll take this card, pass. Wait for
Yeah,
it. Wait
yeah,
for it.
drafting
Like,
can
trying
be
to remember
rough.
what cards you pass and hope it
Yeah.
comes back.
Yeah.
And so drafting online can be
Turn-based
difficult.
drafting, not so much, but
Right.
great game.
Yep.
All right, Mike.
My number 18, I'm the only one that has played this one. It's Bora Bora. So this is one of my favorite Stefan Feld games. I picked this one up a long time ago. This was published, I believe, in 2014. Now it's been reprinted because it's out of print as Cusco. And this is a very mean drafting dice. Sorry, not drafting. Very mean dice placement game. And if you place out, say, a 4, the only legal placement in that worker placement spot is now anything lower. So 4s and up. Sorry, if you place a 1 in that spot,
Nobody else
sorry.
goes.
Unless you pick up a God card, and there are God cards that allow you to break the rules of the game. But ultimately, what you're doing is you are putting these huts out onto the main board to score points for them. There's kind of a territory control scoring that you do, but those huts also make room for more workers. You start with 3 basic actions each turn, but you get to do 2 worker actions at the end of each round, and you keep getting better and better ones as the game go on. If you get 2 of the same type, you can double their action, and it's a very tactical game because each round you must fulfill a quest, and the quests, some are short term, some are long term, and somebody can completely block you out of being able to do a quest, and you got to go a totally different way to complete it. And there's a lot of different ways to score in this game, much like many Stefan Feld games, but it is, I thought, way ahead of its time because there's a lot of player interaction. There's a lot of blocking. It's very tactical. Bora Bora, excellent dice placement game from Stefan Feld.
Nice.
All right. Takes us down to number
17.
My number 17 has been, I think it might have been in top 10 at one point in time, so has slipped a little bit, but it's still a strong top 20 contender. But Empire's Age of Discovery.
Oh, it has fallen.
It has fallen, yes. Friend of the show, Glenn Drover.
Sir
Glenn Drover. I apologize. No harm, no offense intended.
Knighted only by us.
But yeah, we did. We knighted him. But no, it's just a fantastic game where, I mean, yeah, it's a little dark theme, right, where you're colonizing the new world and you're bringing people over and getting goods and whatnot. But it's just a really interesting way that it does that by getting all these different types of workers, putting them in different ships, and then they come over and they go to the different spots on the land, and you're gaining the resources. I just really enjoy this game. It's been a while since we played it.
Man, it has. It has been a minute.
Yeah, but it was it's super enjoyable. So
We
if you
need
get
to
a
fix
chance-
that.
Yeah, we do.
Game was way, way, way ahead of its time, where different workers do different things.
Yep. Yep.
Yeah, and we both have the beautiful Eagle Griffin.
Eagle Griffin, yeah.
production.
Solid game.
Awesome.
Yeah, really good, really good. Okay, so my number 17. I'm the only one at this table likes this game, and I'm fine with that. But it has fallen. It was my top 10 for a very long time, and I still love it. Now, unlike the Clanks and all that, I did not divvy these up. I lumped them all into one, and that's DC deck building game.
Oh, yeah.
It's the first deck builder I played. I really enjoy it. It does not get to the table near as often, really just basically at around Thanksgiving. I'll play it with my niece and a couple of friends
There
there.
you go.
But I don't care. We play it. We have a good time. We pull out whatever standalone expansion we want. We throw in whatever characters we want from any of the other small mini expansions, or we just combine, all the junk together. And we play and we have a great time. I've talked about this game for a long time. I still love it. Got lots of stories, lots of great stories from it. And so, yeah, DC deck building game from Cryptozoic.
Yeah, I just feel like it kind of suffers from the runaway leader aspect. Somebody could have a really good first turn or two and like manage to get a bunch of punches, grab the 1/5 card that's a really strong, and then there's just no catch-up mechanic.
Yeah, I think the newer version. Excuse me. I think the newer versions of this game do better at mitigating a bunch of that.
Okay.
But I mean, that was like a 2012 problem. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
like,
yeah.
That wasn't. I don't think the deck building genre had evolved past that.
Sure.
Yet.
And I always have the nostalgia factor of, hey, we got to play Weird Al. So
We did.
yeah.
I got to make him rage quit. It's the most un-Weird Al thing to do.
I know, right?
And to find out he was a professional Magic the Gathering player for a while.
Yeah. That's good.
So good. What's up?
My number 17 is Ready, Set, Bet.
Great game.
That is 2 party games now that we've put in our top 20. Not every channel will do that. Some channels, it's like, well, only Crunchy Games can make my top 50
screw that
or my
noise.
top 20. I don't need a ton of rules to have fun. Sometimes when I'm playing a game, I just want to have fun. And Ready, Set, Bet is fun. I love this game. It is just a blast to play. People are screaming I stream it to a big screen TV, and people are screaming at the TV and come on, 8, come on, 8. And you're just rooting on these little digital horses, betting on them in real time. That is a blast for me. And I play this a lot during the holidays. My family enjoys this game. Ready, Set, Bet, no joke. I love this game. And I'm also a big fan of John D. Clare as well.
To Mike's point about playing with family, I was talking to Justin the other day, and he was saying that he was taking Ready, Set, Bet to play with his family and his wife's family and stuff like
Nice.
that. And they're not serious gamers at all, but they just love yelling at the screen and
Yes.
trying to tell these digital horses to hurry up.
This game is in my 50 outside the 50.
Yeah.
It is worthy. Like, this game is really good, and I love it.
Yeah.
I've been putting in this in my top 20 ever since it came out. I freaking love this game.
Still got to play your jumbo version.
Yeah, we do.
Yeah, we never have.
I got a version that goes up on a
Easel.
easel. There we go. Thank you. And big old
That was not
D6s.
easy to think
Yeah, you
about.
can have somebody run it and roll D6s, but an app controls it, so that makes it
Then
nice.
you get to play too. That's
Yeah,
fun.
exactly. Cool. All right, so number
16.
So my number 16 is, like, I had to call an audible here because the original one I had here, technically not out yet. So as per the rules of the game, whereas the other one I did allow, like, I think it was in the top 50, I allowed one that wasn't quite out yet, but it's being delivered. It's on
Cheating.
a boat. This one, not even close. It's not on a boat yet. They're still, like, ironing out
Sure.
some bugs. So I threw it off there. Stay tuned for 2025's list because it will be on there.
Nice.
And instead, I went to the next game in line, which was Nucleum.
Well, right on.
I love, like we said earlier, crunchy
Yes.
games. I love the crunch, and Nucleum
Love those
is
too.
fantastic.
It is.
We were talking about a little earlier. We have the little tiles where you're doing to take these actions. There's 2 little, icons in each one. You get to do those 2 actions. But then the more actions you take, depending on how far your tracks are, when you do your recall action, you're just like making them stronger and stronger. So you're getting more stuff available to you with the recall. You're trying to create routes on this other board where you're connecting either like the coal to your power plants to your cities where you're putting out your buildings, and then you're trying to power them up because you power them up, you're going to gain more money. And it's fantastic. I've taught this game to a bunch of people. I taught to my niece. She really enjoyed it, so that was cool. But yeah, Nucleum is great. I got the new expansion with, I think it's Australia is the map on it, and I haven't had a chance to play that yet. Hopefully I will soon.
Yeah.
But yeah, David Turksey.
We'll make that one happen. This game came out like right at the end of 23. So we'd only played it like once before we did our rankings last year.
Yeah.
It moved up like 20 spots for me after playing it 3-4 times. This
Yep.
game's great.
Yep.
I need to play this game. It sounds
Yes,
awesome.
you do.
All right, my number 16. I still love this game. Haven't played it in a minute, but I love this game. And that is Lords of Hellas. Really just enjoy sort of that weird cyberpunk Greek mythology thing. There's a bunch of different ways you can win. You can build a monument. You can. There's territory control. There's killing enough of the monsters. All those things that you're going to do feel really rewarding. You can chase these different victory conditions. If somebody is like too far ahead in one, go for something else. You can still try to block them a little bit. Keep the game going so you can get some stuff. Just a great dudes on a map game with really cool, interesting choices because you're marking off the actions. Everybody's got the same kind of actions they can take. You got an asymmetrical hero, which will give you a different ability. But when you block off those actions, well, now you can't do them until somebody, does that monument phase or whatever. Then you can
Wipes
clear
them off.
everything off. But man, it feels good. It's really fun. I've even played the solo, and it's hard. But I've liked it. I like it that much that I've messed around with the solo mode a little bit too.
I like how there's different like victory conditions, like different ways to win. You don't have to win by the
Yes.
same way every time, and that's always fun.
yeah.
That's
Lot
why I
of
like
ti-
Civilization games a lot of times because
Right.
there's multiple ways paths.
A lot of times you're working on like 2 or 3 at the same time. Then like somebody blocks you,
Yeah,
and
like,
then
oh,
you
go this way.
You finish it a different way.
Yeah.
Fun note: this was the first game I played with this group. That is still the only time I've played it, so this has fallen out of my top
That's
50
fair.
because I just have that one play.
Have you ever played your Lords of Ragnarok?
No,
No.
his is still sealed.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah, I opened mine.
Yeah. I opened the shipping box. That's it. Made sure everything was in there.
Wow. Right on.
Yeah,
Okay,
yeah,
we gotta try that out sometime.
We do.
Yep.
All right.
Give it a shot.
All right. My number 16. Everybody's a big fan of this one and apparently has it ranked higher than I do. After Us.
I do have it ranked higher than you do.
I'm assuming Bob has it ranked higher than me as well. You haven't talked about this
Oh,
yet.
did Bob forget it? Oh,
No.
damn it.
He's not like Tim and forgets games in his top 20.
No.
After Us is fantastic. It does several things that like solve some of the issues with deck builders for me. For one, I get frustrated with AP players that need to read every card 6 times. And during the market phase, you're just waiting. You're just waiting. And there's some games you can't just have the next person go. You need to know what other cards are available. After Us makes this very simple. You can buy from 8 face down decks. So when you have the money to buy, you just buy a top
Top of the card.
You buy the top card of that deck. That's it. But what I love is the serotonin drip you get from playing this game where you're trying to arrange your cards and get like these little frames to match up, and then you get the resources from them. Talking about games that give you getting stuff and then getting stuff and then getting stuff and then do things with the stuff, buying better cards and then increasing your deck. When you get those turns where you score like 25 points in a turn, it is
satisfying.
so satisfying. This is my most played game on Board Game Arena now. I have played this 57 times on Board Game Arena. And I'll have you know, I haven't even really been on BGA in like the last 2 months. So After Us, huge hit at this table. Love that it's got simultaneous play. Love that it plays at 6. Love that it kills the AP that people get during the market phase. You can play this with 6 people in less than an hour. It just does so many things right. I love After Us.
Bob talked about this in the previous week's list.
I did. Mike
like
wasn't
26.
listening.
Okay.
Well, don't say what number it is, but yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Go back and watch last week.
Yeah, it was
you'll see
27.
But it was there. Mike just doesn't listen when I
Okay,
talk.
all right. No, that's true.
Okay.
It's been a week.
It's been.
I've slept since then.
I've slept since then. That's right. It's like that clean slate thing going on. All right, so that's going to take us down to number 15. Wow, I just realized this. My number 15, also by friend of the show, Sir Glenn Drover. And if it wasn't for the setup for this game, it would be played a lot more. But when we do these lists, we say all the time required, player count you want. So with that being said, Mosaic, A Story of Civilization, is my number 15. This is a fantastic civilization type of game where you've got your technologies, you've got buildings you're putting out. Now, the biggest downfall for me was the board. It was a little hard for me to see some of the different territories, so I just took a Sharpie and put my own lines in there to make it easier for me to tell. But I got the deluxified version, so I've got the little cities you're putting out, the ports, you're gathering resources. And it's not like a civilization game where it's like dudes on a map and you're really kind of fighting those dudes. It's more of like you're going to tally up your strength and your influence in that area. So you get points for having cities, points for having wonders, points for having troops and stuff there, but your troops aren't actually necessarily fighting. Now, in the War and Disasters expansion, there is a little bit more of that, but it's not like a typical civilization game where you would think where you're like, well, I have my huge army, I'm going to go fight your army, and we're going to see who's the last one standing. It's not that kind of a civilization game.
Okay.
But yeah, it's fantastic. I love it. It is tedious with the setup because you literally have to put all these tokens across the whole board. And then you have to flip every single one of them over again. You pull all the blanks off, and that can be tedious. So usually, like, I'll task somebody who's not really sure what's going on and say, hey, take all these tokens, flip them upside down, and put them all across the board randomly. Okay. Once they're done with that, okay, now flip all those all over. And by the time they're done flipping all them over, I've got all the rest of the setup done, and we can start. I can do the teach, and we can go from there. So it's it can be tedious to do on your own, but as long as you can task people with doing the setup and get this game to the table, it's worth it.
Nice.
It's a great game. It has fallen for me because I cringe at the thought of setting it up. It is. a tedious setup.
It is. So
It's tough. You know, it is tough. But I want to play it. I haven't played it yet, but I appreciate games. I respect that games can have some difficult setups. My number 15, friend of the show, not Glenn Drover, but Martin Wallace, one of my favorite Martin Wallace games. Not my favorite, but one of them. And that's Wildlands. I really
underrated.
love this game, and it's so not a Martin Wallace, like a typical
There's
Martin
no
Wallace.
trains. You know.
Yeah, there's no tracks.
There's no tracks or
There's
anything.
no loans.
Yeah,
There's
it's weird.
minis.
Yeah.
And what you run it, you're basically you're going around the board. You've got like a team of adventurers or whatever,
Asymmetrical team.
and they all play differently. And you've got these cards, and they have different values and tags on them, so they're going to trigger for different figures right on the board. And you're trying to gain these crystals. You're basically trying to get 5 points. You get 5 points by grabbing one of these crystal shards and like delivering it, or you kill somebody on the other team. Will do that for you. But it's crunchy. There's line of sight rules. There's adjacency. There's area effect, attacks and things like that. And there's a Judge Dredd version, which I also have. There's an Adventuring Party expansion and an Unquiet Dead expansion as well. I've enjoyed all of them. I really like this game a lot. I want to get it played again, but this one's very specific because this is not for everybody. You have to have people that like tactical games, but this plays so different than what they're already used to. It kind of even has to have that caveat too. Like, okay, this is a tactical game, but you got to change your way of thinking.
Yeah, because your cards will be like multi-purpose types of cards. And you
Yeah.
figure out which one to use the cards for. And I really enjoyed the setup.
I was just going to get
Yeah.
to, we talk about bad setup or,
Yeah.
daunting setup. Well,
Right.
this is a really good setup. Go for it.
Yeah, no, because you're getting these cards, and you have like 5, I think it's 10 cards, and you're going to be putting 5 of them out for like crystals of where you're going to be like, where you want to spawn your people, and then you're passing 5, and that's where the other person's going to spawn their colored crystals. So if you have 2 spaces that are adjacent to each other, you can keep one to spawn guys on, and then pass them the other one. They're going to have to spawn one of their crystals at that spot. So when they're going after that spot, you can then reveal your cards, spawn your guys in that room, and you're right there to fight them. It's a really neat way to do the
Yeah, you're
initial
potentially
setup.
seeding
Yeah.
where they're going to put their stuff. And it's kind of fun.
Yeah.
It's kind of fun because it gives you a little bit of knowledge.
Like, well, I know he's going to be heading this way.
Yeah, just really clever. I really enjoy this game for how unique it is.
Yep.
So
Yeah, I think for as far as people talk about Martin Wallace, never mention this game.
No.
Yeah.
no,
Yeah.
it's the
Which I get it. There's a lot of other like really big games that he's done,
100%.
but yeah, it's kind of like Venice and David Turksey. It's like
Right.
that's not people. That's not the ones they go to. They
right.
Yeah.
Right. It's kind of like, oh, I love Wildlands.
What?
Yeah. You hipster.
Right, hipster pick.
All right, Mike, what do you got?
All right, my number 15, we're going to talk about another Stefan Feld game that these guys haven't played. It is Trajan. So Trajan is based on a Mancala mechanic. And so basically you've got different colored action tokens inside of these bowls. There's 6 different bowls. So if I pick up 5 from here, I'm going to drop all 5 of them clockwise around the bowl.
Yes.
Wherever the last one drops, that's the action I'm going to take. And what I love about this particular Mancala game is that is just your player board. Nobody else can mess with it. And so you can set turns up multiple turns in advance. All right, I'm going to drop 1 into this one. Now this one will have 4 markers. And so that'll allow me to do this action, which when I drop that one in here, I'll have 3 markers there. Then I can, you can literally set up turns 3, 4, 5 turns in advance if you are willing to do that much counting. And it is satisfying when you pull it off. Some of the combos that you get in this game, but really it's a bunch of kind of different mini games. You're doing some set collecting. You've got like a little map where you're moving like a legionnaire around and trying to get different tiles that give you bonuses. It's just a really good mishmash of different mechanics that are all driven by that Mancala on your player board. It just works extremely well for me. Highly recommend this game, and I still just don't think there's anything that's like it in the market. There have been other Mancala games that come out, but I don't know if they all combine the mechanics the way this one does. So Trajan's still one of my favorite Stefan Feld games.
Nice.
All right.
All right.
Takes us down to number 14. My number 14 is probably the game I've played the least in my top 20 period, looking at these upcoming games. I've only played it, I think, 2 or 3 times, but I really enjoy what I'm doing, and there's going to be 4 of these out now after the next year. But Perseverance, Castaway Chronicles, Volumes 1 and 2 in the first box, 3 and 4 coming out next year. It's fantastic. So, and the whole story keeps evolving. So, in episode 1, you're basically on this like cruise ship, and you crash landed on this island, and there's dinosaurs. And so you're building up your communities, and you're on the beach, and you're kind of establishing like this beachhead. But then dinos keep coming in, so you got to build up walls. You got to put hunters out there, and you can send people on missions to try to accomplish those and find resources and maybe dinosaur parts to use to build things with. And the dinosaurs are rampaging through and tearing down all of your stuff. And then in the second one, more time has passed, and now you're using some of these dinos to ride on and and go exploring and do different things. And so there's just so much that these games can do. And I'm excited to see what they do with 3 and 4. And I want to play this game more. I leave it. It's been sitting on my shelves downstairs where I have the games to play like for a long time because I haven't played it in a while. But like every time this game kept popping up, it's like, I want to play that game.
Yeah.
I want to play that game. And like I said, it's got really neat bits to it. And just what you're doing in that game just sounds like so much fun. And like I said, the story evolving like the way it does is super neat. Like, yeah, I want to ride dinos. Who doesn't want to ride dinosaurs?
Right.
You know?
Yeah.
So yeah, it's a great crunchy game, but it's got great iconography. It's one of those, I think it's a Mind Clash things.
Yeah.
Where it's like once you can learn the iconography, the game, I don't say plays itself, but interprets itself, like, because it's so super strong throughout. And then those same icons will carry forward through the rest of those, like the other season 2. So icons you see in season 1 will apply in season 2 also, because they use the same types of mechanisms in those games.
Nice. Sounds awesome.
I've been wanting to try this one. I'd like to play it.
Yeah.
And really, really, again, sort of rewards that campaign play, right? Because it keeps doing new and interesting things.
Yeah, and like even though each one is like you can play it standalone, you don't have to play it through the campaign. You if you like the things that are going on in episode 2, just play episode 2 when you go to play it. You don't have to play 1 and then play 2, but it just does kind of envelop that storyline into it to make everything make sense as you're doing it. So.
Yeah, right on. My number 14, I know Bob loves. I don't remember if Mike likes this game or not. That's fine. But I'm talking about A War of Whispers.
Ooh, yeah.
Good game.
This game's really good, and we talked a little bit about it before. One of the coolest things about this game is it's that territory control game, but it's shifting on what territory you're trying to control, or because you're not really controlling it. You're manipulating the different armies that are on the board to fight and control, or lose control, because you need them to have certain things met for you to get the most points to win the game. And so it's really neat, and you've got all the little factions lined up secretly, and then you can change them around if you need to, to try to
match who's doing better on the board,
get in
whatnot.
a better position to do it. But then and then where you put your person on the board, and then how those resolve for each country, and then you get different effects for that. I mean, just really interesting choices, and really fun and amazing theme. Just really cool. I really enjoy it. And then they did a little mini expansion for it, which even just
Extra cards.
Yeah, it was
Because the cards
just
are really
enough.
good. Yeah.
It's just enough, because without overdoing it, because that was might have been the weakest part of a game that we really liked, is it didn't feel like there were enough cards.
Yeah, the cards were very samey. Yeah,
So
now
to-
they're very different.
So to get some more cards in there that really just kind of zhuzh it up.
Right.
Yeah,
the 2 things I would say about this game is, 1, definitely get the collectors, because the collector's edition comes
Oh
with
my
little
gosh.
cities that you put your people in, because the board can get kind of crowded and you can lose some of the stuff that's actually written on it. So having the 3D tower and the cities really adds to not
Oh, it
only
helps
just
so
the
much.
board presence, but it actually helps and improves the gameplay of
Yes.
the game. And the other thing is, it's like Bene Gesserit, the game, right? Because you're not really the people in charge, you're just the people behind the scenes trying to make things happen on the board. And I really enjoyed that mechanism.
Yeah, it's cool. It's very cool, and it's fun to watch the swings. And
Well, if Tim's just going to keep pushing the blue guys, I'm just going to change my alliances a little bit.
yeah, let him do all the work for me.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
So
Very clever game. I love those kind of games where you don't necessarily control
Change your
one
allegiance.
faction.
Yeah.
You can you can move around any faction on the board if you want.
Yep.
All right. My number 14 is one of my big risers this year. It's Planet Unknown.
Oh, right on.
I really enjoy playing an Unknown. This checks a lot of boxes for me. So I like polyomino games. I like games where I'm moving up tracks. I like games with combos. I really appreciate games that support 6 players because you don't always want to have to play a party game just because you have 6 people. And I like games that play right around an hour to 90 minutes. That's Planet Unknown. All of these things. Simultaneous play. I love how you're just picking up one tile, that little Lazy Susan, which is one of the greatest components of any game ever created.
seriously.
Can't
And whatever
deny that.
depot is sitting in front of you, that's what you're taking your polyomino out of. And then you can turn it either way you want. And then you're going to move up the track from the colors on each side of your tile. But those tracks have tons of bonuses as you go up them. Sometimes you're moving up multiple tracks all at once. That's where those combos come in. But always play the asymmetrical sides. It makes every game feel completely different. I mean, some of the ways that you're trying to manipulate those pieces and move up some tracks is way different with the asymmetrical planets. I cannot wait to get my copy of this. I backed the reprint, which has a supermoon expansion. I just love this game. I love it on BGA. I cannot get enough of Planet Unknown.
Yeah, I think that I've played it so much that's made me not want to play it, so it's fallen out of my 50. But I don't not like the game.
I can't get
played a ton.
enough of this game. Like,
Yeah.
I love it so much. It moved up from the 30s for me. So
Nice.
one of my biggest movers.
All right, cool beans. Takes us down to number 13. My number 13, it's been a while since I've played it. One of my favorite difficult co-ops. I love the theme of this game. I've got I'm pretty sure everything there is to own for this game. But Spirit Island is fantastic. Like the bits you have, like your islands, you've got huts on there that are like the natives, and then you can pick an invader, and the invaders are coming in. They're trying to invade your land, but you're playing this spirit that the natives worship. And depending on what your powers are, either you're like the fangs beneath the trees, or you're the I now draw a blank on. They have so many like really weird,
I
interesting
was going to
names.
say
There's
he
stacks
who
of them.
walks behind the rose, but that's a Children of the Corn.
Sure, but yeah, things like that, and then you've got different asymmetrical cards that are going to go with that spirit, and you're going to, your strength's going to grow over time. And you're going to put these little tokens on the board and create sacred sites, and then you'll have these cards that will do abilities, and some of them have to go from sacred sites, some of them go from just territories where you have control, and you're going to have fast cards that are going to resolve first. Then you have the invaders that are going to be doing their ravaging, their building, and then more invading, and then you have the slow cards that are going to tick off, and then just trying to work that timing with all of your cards you have going on. You're trying to induce fear to get them to run and flee the island, and I really love the theme and the fact that there's so many options with the spirits that you can play. It's soloable. There's an app version of it that actually plays really well. Yeah, it's just a great game.
You really need the derpy box cover version.
There was,
The Target exclusive.
there is a what was that, the Horizons or whatever, Spirit
Yeah.
Horizons. I think it's like an
That-
intro version of the game that had
That-
some not so great art to it.
that
but,
box cover. Ugh,
yeah,
the
but
dragon.
that is not what I'm talking about.
No,
Not that.
no, not that
Not
at
that
all.
one. No.
All right, my number 13. Yeah, I've got everything for this game. It's one of the greatest produced games I've ever seen. Ever. Also a difficult co-op. Mechs versus Minions.
Oh, nice. Okay, yeah, nice.
This game's badass. I joke when I say I got everything for it. It's just all one
To
box.
one box, yeah. I was like, I don't.
But no, the pre-painted minis, the wash on the minions, and they come in different shapes and sizes, yet they all fit in any spot on
Yes,
that
that is
insert.
super smart.
The dice look great. The big chunky coins.
The
and
big mine that you
the
move around,
mine
the
that
pokey mine thing.
you
Yeah.
move. That secret box.
The secret
that's in
box
there.
that has the in it. That thing's fantastic.
Oh, it's so cool.
Yeah.
But I love having the asymmetric characters, and you lay out. You got your board, and it's numbered, and then you're buying those power cards, right? And you're slotting them. They're gonna move you and fire off in like different directions, and the rules overhead is so easy. It's so straightforward because it's like if you hit a minion, he's off the
dies.
board. You stomp on a minion, he's off the board. You know, I mean, and then you as you do the different missions, it's just like here's a little sprinkling. Like, oh, we're gonna make it tough because maybe there's like a lava wall coming after you on this one. You know, and then some of the hilarious things when you take damage, you're gonna draw a damage card that's gonna get slotted in your control board. So as you're executing your operations,
Yeah, your programmed movement.
when you hit that damaged one, you're going to do whatever it says. It might be like turn left. It might be like roll a die and move in that
Move
direction.
that direction, yeah.
You know, it might be move 3 steps forward. I mean, there's all kinds of different crazy things.
Yeah.
And it's really fun. And there's a really neat sort of drafting mechanic to this too, where if there's a time, it's timed, and if somebody takes too long, they screw everybody else
Yeah,
out of
then
the
you don't
cards.
get a card.
And that doesn't help anybody.
Right. Just take cards. Take it. Just take it.
And then if you don't want to slot that card, you've got options. You can
Yeah,
trash
you
it and do things with
effects,
that.
yeah.
You can move. You know, it might
Swap
allow you
things,
to rearrange. It might allow you to
repair.
repair. You know, so I mean that's even better sometimes because it's like, well, I don't want this card, but you can use it to basically fuel. To get like a higher power, higher level of that ability, depending
yeah.
on the card, if it matches up the right
The symbol, yeah.
way. But damn, this game is good.
This is one of those things I love, like visually picturing how you do. You got this program movement because you got this game where you're pushing all these buttons and doing these levers, and then as you take the damage, and now it's like, well, I used to push this button and I would march forward, but now I push this button and all of a sudden my thing just turns and rotates.
Yeah.
It's like, why is it doing that? It's like sparks are flying out the side.
Yeah,
like,
it's really cool. This was the first program movement game that I played. It still might be my favorite.
Yeah.
But golly, it's just so much fun.
it's definitely up there. I love it.
I really like this game quite a bit.
It's great. A lot of fun. All right, my number 13, I think it's almost in the exact same spot as last time. It is Lost Ruins of Arnak.
I knew it. I was going to say it because I remember it being 13 last year. I don't know why that one. Mike rattles lists off to us all the time, and then for some reason, that one stuck. But go ahead, Mike.
It's a great. It's just a really great blend of worker placement and deck building. And I know that you don't have to build your deck to win this game, but that's one of the appeals to me of this game. You know, I really like games, again, that give you a lot of resources and just kind of let you do what you want to do with those things. In this game, you just keep extending each turn, extending each round, and trying to do as many things as you can before you finally pass. And I really like that in any game, especially this one. The game becomes very tactical the further you get along. As you get to the 5th round, more of those blue cards come out, which give you instant effects, and you're using a lot more of those cards just for the instant effects, more so than you are buying them to reshuffle them and play them again, because you're only drawing 5 hands the entire game. So it becomes a very tactical game as you start to play it. But I love the resource conversion. I like the specialists that you can recruit, and you can upgrade them and get those, exhaust them each round. They're still supporting this game with tons of new content all the time. I haven't even played all the new expansions. I love this game on Board Game Arena. It doesn't overstay its welcome. You can easily play this game in like in an hour and a
60 to
half,
90,
even with a full complement of players. Lost Ruins of Arnak, I love this game. It's a great design. It's great components and art.
Components are phenomenal.
It is not going anywhere in my list.
Have you played the Expedition Leaders expansion?
No, I know. Asymmetric player powers. I haven't even used it yet. I've been playing on Board Game Arena.
You
a
don't
lot.
like asymmetrical player
Yeah,
powers.
yeah,
I need to play this one again because I only played it the one time and I found it more forgiving than Dune Imperium, which was a plus.
Yeah.
It's very forgiving. Yes.
Because it didn't feel near as tight and near as brutal. But I don't know. I don't remember how to play this game. I know there's like a track over here, and you're going to play some movement cards to get out, depending on how far out they are.
Worker placement and deck building.
Yep.
But and I remember
That's-
like being okay with it.
Sure.
But
That's
I want
actually
to play it again.
one of the best parts is when you go explore and you take your ship and you go check out a whole new territory, and then you flip over a raider, and they're just like monsters that are guarding these new areas. Guardians. Raiders? Where did raiders come from?
I don't know. I was
Because
gonna-
Indiana Jones, Raiders of the Lost Ark.
Yeah, maybe. Anyway, Guardians. They have fantastic art, and you actually have to kill these Guardians off, or you add fear cards, which are the bad cards that you want to get out of your deck. But yeah, you have to fight them. Man, yeah, you get points for killing them off. But that's one of my favorite parts is just seeing the Guardian that comes out and seeing the new tile that you've discovered, and those are brand new worker placement
Yeah,
spots.
become new spots.
So what you're saying is in Arnak, you're playing as the bad guys in Spirit Island.
Because you're in bad. That's funny.
Good pick.
Yeah, good pick.
I
Mike.
called the Guardians Raiders.
All right, so number 12. So my number 12 is the only game I've ever rated a 10, even though I probably technically shouldn't have rated
I know
a
what
10.
it is.
Code names.
No, you should have.
Because, huh?
I know what it is, and
code
you
names.
should have.
No, because of the color blind issue I have with the cubes. Because I can't tell some of the cubes apart. I should have docked the half a point, but I was so blown away with the dual layer player boards, the dual layer board itself, the action crafting TM Julia. But Smartphone Inc. is fantastic. I love this game. It's got a cool little spot on the top where you're tracking each phase of the round, and you are crafting your actions depending on what you want to do. You're setting your price for your phones. You're building your phones. You're doing logistics to try to get your phones into different countries. You're researching different technologies. You're trying to sell your phones according to your price. Lowest people are going to sell their phones first. But then you're trying to, undercut. Oh, Mike's trying to sell his 4G stuff, so let me make sure I sell it to all the people who are trying to buy 4G. Like, it's just got some really neat mechanisms in it. I never thought that a game about building and selling smartphones would be as fun as this is.
You know who would really like this game?
Who is that?
Because he's like into sales and he talks about how he's into sales a lot and everything.
Mike?
Mike would really
Mike
like
would
this
probably
game.
like it. You should
you'd
play
probably like
this
this.
game, Mike.
I know you haven't played like a lot of games about sales, but I think you might. I think you
might
might like
enjoy- you
this
might
one.
enjoy this.
No, that's actually a valid point. I'm going to talk more about that point on next week's list.
Nice. But yeah, no, Smartphone Inc. is fantastic.
Oh, it's a great game.
It's
Yeah.
an
It's a great game.
all-time favorite for
Need
me.
to play it again,
I love
'cause
Smartphone.
It's been a while.
It fell out because I
Lack
just
of
haven't
plays.
played it.
It's-
I think it's still in my 50 outside the 50.
It's kind of one of those where I've played it so much, the fact that it's been a while doesn't matter. I already know how much I love this
Look,
game.
I
Yep.
definitely have those in my list as well. But anyways, I'll stop looking and see if it's in my 50 and 50.
Great game.
My number 12. Oh my God, I love this game. I would play this game all the time
Right
if
now?
I could.
Right
yeah,
now?
I
Should we
would.
just cut and go to the game?
Yeah, sure.
Well, what is it first?
But it'll take a while to set up.
Uh-oh.
That is Heroes of Land, Air, and
I'm out.
Sea.
I didn't know you were going to do that one. I was
You're
gonna-
like, oh, should we play right now? Well, yeah. You want to talk about asymmetric 4X? This is by a million miles my favorite Gameland Games game. The Tiny Epic games are fine, whatever. They've got their spot. But for me, give me Heroes of Land, Air, and Sea. The table presence on this thing is bonkers. The asymmetric factions are bonkers. Your player board, where you've got all your action selection stuff, is so good. It's so interesting. So
Is it
many
bonkers?
cool things you could do. It's bonkers. The exploration feels good because you never know what you might find. You might find a tunnel that pops up right next to somebody else's castle, which then will allow you to traverse great distances very quickly so that you can attack them unknowingly.
Unbeknownst to them.
They may not realize that you could attack them.
Mm-hmm.
What's even better is when you get to do it twice. But no, this game's badass. I love this game. I really appreciate what this game does. I mean, this game takes really big swings with what they're trying to do with the different factions, and you can use the birds, and so you've got that elevated area. You could play as the Atlanteans, and so you've got like this blue clear overlay that you put over, and so those are underwater areas. I mean, this game just shoots for the moon, and
Hits?
I mean, for me it does, and if it missed, it's still going to the stars. So we're still good. Either way, I really like Heroes of Land, Air, and Sea.
It's fantastic. I would put it higher if I had played it more.
Sure.
I would love to. And had I known that you were going to put it on your list this week, had I known that,
I see what you did there. See what you did there.
great pick.
Yep.
All right, my number 12 fell out of the top 10. It's Wonderland's War.
I fell
This
out of
game's
mine
just
too.
long. You know, I wouldn't even suggest playing it at 5 because it's 3 hours, and it's a good 20 minutes plus a setup. It's a good 20-minute plus teach, and they're easy concepts. There's nothing complicated in this game, but it just takes a while to set up and a while to explain everything that's going on. That's it. It's just that it's long, and that's why I haven't been able to play it for a while.
Sure.
But at 3 and 4, this game is amazing. I love being able to bet on who's going to win fights.
Yes.
I love all the different reasons the game gives you to stop pulling out of your bag. There's so many of these push your luck bag builder games where you're just going to keep pulling and try to get as high as you can. No. The game incentivizes you with quest cards that give you points. And
If you stop on a 7.
stop on a 7, we'll give you some points out of
like,
this
okay,
quest
I'll
card.
stop.
Yeah, so I just really like the different ways it gives you to stop along that battle track during the battles, the strategic ways for why you're getting into certain battles but not others. Maybe here I want to stop on 4, so I just want to put one guy in
just
there,
push you under
and as soon as I
two.
get to 4, I just stop playing. But this one I need to get up to 10 on the track, so I'm going to put all my followers over here. I love the different ways they incentivize you to play each battle differently. You're not playing battles the same way each time. Also,
The Tea Party phase?
the Tea Party phase is always interesting, kind of pulling up and grabbing the different cards, and then building your bag is always a blast in these kind of games. But there are 4 different sets of chips, and we've still only played the first set. There's 3 whole different versions
Right.
of this game that we haven't even tried yet.
Yeah, kind of like Quacks where you can do different types of
Yes.
ingredients. Yeah, you use a different card so they've got different abilities.
Yeah, there's whole
Yeah.
different sets we haven't tried yet. We really need to, but because of
Okay.
its length, it's been hard to get to the table.
Yeah.
But Wonderland's War is still awesome. That's why it's my 11.
I
Or
just
12,
think
sorry.
we play it at 3-player, like us
It's
3 right
it's
here.
just too long.
Like play it again sometime
All right, we'll do it Christmas Eve.
on Whiskey Wednesday. Oh no,
That's on
Christmas
whiskey.
Day.
That's on Christmas Day.
Nice.
Tim keeps forgetting. That's not the first time I've done that. Won't be the last.
Yeah.
Tim keeps forgetting that Christmas Day is on Wednesday this year.
It's awesome.
Yeah.
Okay.
Let's go.
Takes us to our last one of the day. Number
11.
Number 11, super popular game at this table. One of Mike's, I don't say favorite games, but he does really enjoy this one. But Resurgence is a fantastic deck builder, worker placement, engine building type of game. If you've watched the previous episodes, I believe they talked about it already. But it's fantastic. It's getting a reprint, which is cool. So if you weren't able to get in the original one, get the reprint. I don't see the box here anymore, the original art on it a little bit better. But one of my favorite things about it is you've got these areas behind a screen, and as you pull your workers out, you're going to assign them to those different areas, and that's where you're going to be sending those workers to those areas on your board or in your own little base. And then when you reveal that, you're going to calculate the strength in each spot, compare it to everybody else, and you're going to go up these tracks. Those tracks are going to let you call workers from your bag. It's going to give you resources. It's going to give you victory points, all those types of things. And then once you've gone up those tracks, you're going to take turns putting your guys out on the board. You're going to be completing quests. You're going to be recruiting people, and those people have different combos on them. So this guy says oh, if I gain a bullet, I can gain a food, and I'll tap him. Then I have a guy that says, oh, if I gained a food, I can gain an oil. Oh, I'll tap him. Oh, now I have a guy that says if I gained an oil, I can gain a quest. And you just want to get all these just combo-rific types of cards together, and it's fantastic. So
It's very good.
Right on. Yeah, I talked about it earlier, but yeah,
You
definitely
did.
enjoy this game. Want to play it? Want to play it right now? Let's go.
all right, let's go.
Christmas Eve. Okay. My 11. I love this game. Again, drop of the hat, right? Anybody even gets close to suggesting this game, I'm already setting it up. And that is Taverns of Tiefenthal. This game is just... This is a game that just does everything for me, like all the time. It always feels good. There's the deck building, the dice drafting, the push your luck. It feels like push your luck as you're drawing those cards and you're putting them out. I mean, it's not really push your luck, but it's that anticipation of seeing how many guests are going to come out.
Yeah.
And what
How
are
many
those
cards take it off the top?
What are those awesome cards that I'm building up, right? That's getting me those bonuses, those combos, that engine that I built. Watching that fire off, playing with all of the modules. You know what I mean? Building out that signature book and using the schnapps and the entertainers, at the right time. Oh, this game feels so good. I love this game so much. This is like a comfort game for me. I just shut my brain off. Like, I don't even have to think. It's like, I just know what moves. Like, everything just feels very instinctual when I play this game. And it's really good. It's really fun. I know people like Quacks better. And that's sort of the flashier choice. It's more popular. Quacks is definitely more popular than Taverns. And I think they like drawing the chips out of the bag.
Yeah,
and
that
things like
tactile feeling. I think the rules overhead's a little lower with Quacks.
Yeah, I think so. I think so. But Taverns, I don't know, man.
It's great.
It just hits this spot. Like, that's just perfect.
Yeah, I blinged out my copy with a bunch of cool bits to it, and I replaced all my wooden dice.
I was going to say
with
extra
plastic
wooden dice.
And but I was actually in the mood for this yesterday. I had it at the meetup, and I was really I was trying to get people to play it, and I couldn't because there's just other things that wanted to be played.
I might have made my kids
Exactly,
sit
like,
and
no,
wait while
we're
we.
sitting here while we play this game.
Well, I know we could have played it in an
Yeah.
hour.
Yeah. I love how it's got one of my favorite things that like After Us does and whatnot. When you buy a new card, it goes to the top of your deck.
Top of the deck.
I love that about deck builders because you're getting those cards right away. You don't have to like waiting to shuffle them in and hope you draw them.
It feels good.
It does.
It feels rewarding.
Yeah.
And it's very cool. This game just does everything right. I don't have any complaints when I play this game. I just
Except
don't.
the wooden dice.
Yeah, sure. That's your worst problem. That's awesome.
yeah.
That is awesome.
Sub the dice.
Yeah.
But yeah, that's my 11. Taverns of Tiefenthal.
Good pick. All right, speaking of games I haven't played in a while, but I just know how much I love them. My number 11 is Blood Rage. I mean, I love territory control games. We all do. And to my knowledge, this is one of the first territory control games that I know of where losing battles timely is a viable strategy. And often, if you do it right, the winning strategy. And now more games are starting to embrace that. This game is really kind of a hybrid game, which a lot of games are now. But when this came out, it was one of the first games that had territory control game and a little bit of luck and some drafting and the ability to actually win the game even though you're losing in battle. And just it works so extremely well. You are crafting your strategy based on those cards that you are drafting at the beginning of each round. And the fact that you're just playing 3 very quick ages, even with 4 players, this still plays in 90 minutes. It's really easy to teach. I just absolutely love Blood Rage.
I think now this is in my 50 outside the 50, so keep that in mind when I give this criticism. My problem with Blood Rage is that when you're playing with experienced players, if you are newer or haven't played in a while, you are going to get dog walked by those experienced players. You just are. And that's, for me, the biggest flaw in a really, really good, fun, wild and swingy game, because I do like the drafting mechanic and doing the different strategies and everything, and the asymmetric well, no, not asymmetric. It's how you can build you can level up your stuff differently, which gives you a little bit of asymmetry. And
in my opinion, you can have this complaint of any drafting game. You don't know what cards to take until you've seen them in action.
Yes.
I have the exact same problem with It's a Wonderful World. If you have not played that game before, it is not quite as easy to see how everything is going to resolve without playing it.
I feel like it's a little more forgiving. Oh, It's a Wonderful World is a little more forgiving than Blood Rage.
Maybe, but it's still tight enough to where if you draft the wrong cards and you don't have anything that feeds in anything else, you're going to be hurting for it.
Yeah, but Blood Rage will give you some real feel bad when you get your ass whooped.
But I have a very simple resolution for this game is you play the first age, and you go, oh, that's how those cards work. Let's play again. All you're doing is adding 30 minutes to a 90-minute game. And trust me, if you have new players at the table, they will appreciate it. And you actually will have players that have a chance come the final age, just play the first age twice.
I agree. That's a good point. I won't argue that. And the game's fun enough that it's worth it.
I've done this many times successfully and had new players win this game.
Nice.
Perfect. Hey, great.
There you go.
Thank you for providing a solution to my complaint.
Whatever.
That's all of them, right?
Yeah. That was it
Oh
for
my
today.
gosh, that flew by.
Yeah.
Oh, guys, I can't wait. I cannot wait to get to the top 10.
I know.
Like, I thought I was excited about talking about these games.
If you have made it this far, we appreciate it. We are going to be breaking our top 10 up into top 5s. So there'll be 2 different top 5s. So we'll do 10 through 6 and then 5 through 1. And that way we can have more time to talk about each game because we're very passionate about our top 10s. And so,
Yeah, we kind of want to keep everything, moving, but at
Right.
the same time,
we're going to gush.
yeah, we're going to gush a little over these top 10s,
Yeah.
and we're really excited about them. And so thank you so much for watching. We appreciate that. Again, let us know what games are we missing out on. Maybe they're coming. What are some of your top 10 games? What are your 20 through 11 games? Like, let us know. I love that stuff. Join us in the Discord. Like, subscribe, thumbs up, Patreon.
All that kind of
that
stuff.
You've already heard us talk about that.
Yeah.
So what are you waiting for? You guys got anything else before we sign off?
I don't think so.
Badass list today, guys.
That was fun.
Really good job. Nice work. Mine was the best, though. Just all right, for the Board Game Rundown, I've been Tim.
Bob.
I'm eye rolling.
There we go. We'll see you next time.